y'all. Welcome back for another episode of the Gun Talk. We got a special guest here, Sandman. He's from North Carolina. He's also going to talk about his gun laws there in his state and then what he does for a living. Then we're also going to go into other details today, like the Department of Justice new buildings for our gun rights, new concealed carry laws coming out, and give support to the people that happen in DC. But before we get into all of that, we're going to go through our sponsors for the channel today. We got Dubby. Are we still doing the 30% off?
Actually, today it was buy one for 50% off. I think with the special code or something like that. I forget the code.
50% off your entire order.
Yeah,
it was. I was looking at it because I just restocked. It's BF 2025 for Black Friday 2025. 50% off your entire order.
So yeah, you guys can get that with 50% off, or you can support us, Flying Hawaiian, Canon, and Sandman. That's his W code. We all are sponsored from there. I use Japanese soda right now. I don't know what you guys are drinking.
I'm currently rocking the Grandma's Lemonade Hydration Blend and the, if I hang up my glasses, I can't read, the Shadow Monarch Surge. So I got the hydration booster and the Jitterless energy blend.
I was drinking the Japanese yuzu, but I ran out of that one.
Oh yeah, I like the dragon fruit one. That was a really good one.
I want to taste that one so much.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. I finally saw that the s'mores was back in stock, and that's what I just ordered was a tub of the s'mores flavor.
Man, you gotta tell me how that s'mores is, because I've been really curious about the s'mores flavor.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, well, if you guys sure like Dubby and also like dirty or like dark humor or Prodigy T-shirt, the company that's sponsoring us is Threat of Resistance. I actually have that last T-shirt in that ad. Without the Second Amendment, there wouldn't be a first. It's really good quality, you guys. If you do like it, use the code Flying Hawaiian. Right now, you only would get $1 off your order, but maybe here in the future, we'll get a little bit more off. So, Salmon, why don't you introduce yourself to our guest?
Yeah, so Sandman 252, Sandman Gaming 252. That's my handle across all my gaming socials. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. I'm an avid outdoorsman. Been hunting and fishing my whole life. I did serve in the Army as an infantryman from 2010 to 2014. Now, for a living, I am a competitive shooter. I shoot professionally for a living in sporting clays. Sponsored by Federal Ammunition, Pila Eyewear, Browning Shotgun Sports, Bear Pelt Vest, Little Trapper NC. Um, but I stream a lot. I game a lot on my off time. Do a lot of GTA 5 RP gameplay. That's my main go-to now. It recently picked up by W sponsorship about 2 months ago. So yeah, I mean, I just a redneck from the sticks that loves to shoot guns, love to talk about guns, love to talk about hot topics. Not afraid to hurt feelings when I'm getting a point across, but I'm also open-minded to other people's beliefs and opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So that's pretty much my stint of my idea on things.
Okay, what are some of the gun laws that people in North Carolina plus around the country might need to be aware of when they come over to North Carolina?
So North Carolina, it is a transferable gun law state. It's also an open carry state, just like most states are. 18 and up you can open carry. 21 and up for pistols. There, of course, it is a transferable concealed carry state. So I think there's only 5 states in the country that don't transfer their concealed carry rights to North Carolina. It's the 3rd largest transferable state in the country. And just like most states, not allowed automatic firearms, but people always find a way around that, whether it be with the bump triggers, bump stocks. It's a pretty red state when it comes to gun rights. It's a very pro 2A state. I've lived here my whole life, minus the time I spent in the military. So, I have experienced issues with going to other states with shooting. Whether it be in the Midwest part of the state, and of course international travel, but that's a whole nother scope of gun laws when you go across the pond. But yeah, I mean, North Carolina's it's a pretty relaxed, I would say, relaxed than most states with gun laws. At one point, they were trying to do away with having to have a permit for concealed carry. That was squashed. And in my opinion, even though I'm very pro gun, very pro 2A, there has to be some form of safety regulation on firearms. I mean, just like everybody here knows, I mean, you just can't have a guy that was released from prison a week ago legally concealing a gun, around people, or just anybody in general that shouldn't be able to have access to a gun.
Yeah. Were you close by when you had that one criminal that stabbed the lady in the train?
So that was in Charlotte. That was in the more midwestern part of the state. I live on the East Coast, about 2 hours from the beach. So that's about a 4.5 hour drive from me. But I have spent a lot of time in Charlotte, in that area, for personal travel, for watching sporting events, giving shooting lessons out there. But it definitely hit kind of close to home but like I said, it was 4.5 hours away. And our area hasn't been, unprone to gun violence. A few years ago during the George Floyd protests and riots, I lived 15 minutes away from where there was multiple stabbings and shootings happen. So everywhere has their own, drama and issues with gun violence, and North Carolina's no exception. But, just like, well-regulated gun laws and safety rules and regulations is what can prevent issues like that, and a stricter, jurisdiction and criminal justice system.
Okay. How strict is it for, like, let's say someone goes in a gun shop to buy a firearm? What is the waiting day periods for that? And, the more of a process, because I know different states have a different process.
Yeah. So for North Carolina, the minimum background check can take up to 7 days. I've seen some instances go up to 30 days. For pistols, certain weapon accessories and attachments. Something like a rifle or shotgun is anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. Like in North Carolina, you just can't go up to Academy Sports or Cabela's or Dick's Sporting Goods. You can't go in there and say, "Hey, I want to buy this shotgun." All right, here you go. You sign the paperwork and leave. With a shotgun and rifle, you're going to wait at least the quickest I've ever seen it is about 12 hours. But I've never seen somebody walk into a store and say, "Hey, I want that shotgun." All right, here's 800. Here's $800 for the gun. All right, have a good day. Pistols, just like when I'm not traveling for shooting, I work at a gun range that, people come in all the time. "Hey, I want that pistol." All right, fill out this background check. Well, no, I just want to buy the pistol. Well, no, you have to do this background check first. Well, how long is that going to take? It could take up to a week, and then they just dip and go down the road. It all comes down to dealership discretion as well. Like in some instances, you're not required to do a federal background check on shotguns and rifles. But just in my area of the state, the owners and the gun shop, the ranges, all them, they're very strict on. They're not going to give. They're going to background check anybody. They're going to background check everybody they meet, unless you have that certain set of rapport. Like me, if I were to go into my gun range and say, "Hey, I want to purchase that shotgun," they're still going to do all the proper documentation and transfer paperwork, but they're not going to run a background check on me because they know that obviously I'm good to go. But if Joe Schmo from down the road, they have no idea it comes in, of course they're going to do every single step to make sure it's right.
Okay. Because I know in Nevada, if you have a CCW, you can go purchase a firearm with no background check because that's the equivalent of a background check.
Yeah, it's the same in the state. With the CCW, that's good as gold. I'm just talking about like the regular Joe Schmo on the street.
Yeah, that's good to know. Man, I'm lagging today. So, you guys have any questions for him?
No. Seems y'all are a little stricter than it is here.
Like I said, in some cases there's more stricter laws, but also it's just the fact that North Carolina is a very traditional state, to where they're one of the safest states on gun laws there is because of how some people call it strict, some others might call it the right steps to go. Me personally, whatever's going to make everybody the safest, I'm going to go for. I don't care. I mean, I don't care if I've got to go in and buy a gun. It takes me 2 weeks to get it. As long as they went through the proper steps to make sure that it was legally and safely purchased, that's all I care about at the end of the day. I feel like that should be everybody's attitude. I mean, yeah, it's a little inconvenient, but you're doing the right thing. They're doing the right steps to make it the safest and most legal way possible. Now, I'm not saying that if you want to go into a store and buy ammunition, that should be a 30-day process.
Okay, so here's another good question. So, if someone was moving to North Carolina, is there like a process where people have to notify that they're bringing their firearms?
So it depends. It's per county. The county sheriff's department has different discretions. I can't speak for every county. The counties I do have knowledge of, you do not, unless it is a classification of weapon that isn't like your normal like classification. Like for instance,
So NFA items.
Correct. Yes. Yep. So like say for instance, if y'all moved to North Carolina, you had hunting rifles, a couple handguns and a few shotguns. No, you don't have to register.
Okay, because I know there are, I think maybe 3 states. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. Where you actually have to register your firearms with your CCW or your concealed carry permit. So I know it's kind of iffy state by state. Man, you guys are quiet over there.
We're just listening.
Well, I got somebody watching that just sent me a message say they could only see my head, so I'm trying to look at the actual stream to make sure or they can only see my chest, so I'm making sure I'm not cut in half.
Oh no, I'll have to pull that up because.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. They must be obliterated.
Oh yeah, I know. Because we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now, and every single streaming platform is a little different.
Yeah, I sent them the YouTube link.
Yeah, there's other platforms where Flying Hawaiian is at, but I do on these 3 because try to get the more viewers as I can because we're all a team here and we all love to talk about firearms.
Mm-hmm.
So, was your shooting competitions? What's your go-to firearm for that?
So me personally, I shoot a Browning Satori 525. I am sponsored by Browning Shotgun Sports, but even before then, except for like 3 years where I shot a Krieghoff, which is a German manufactured shotgun, Browning has always been my go-to. Now, that particular gun that I'm shooting was manufactured in 2001, and I've been shooting that same exact shotgun since 2002, 2003 time frame. So that's my personal go-to for sporting shotguns. Now, we're talking on a strictly sporting aspect. Now, I've taken that shotgun. It's over under 12 gauge, 30-inch barrel, and it's got threaded slots for chokes that you can shoot all the way from approved cylinder to extra full. So, and I use that gun for dove hunting. I use it for wild game birds like pheasant, quail, pigeons, everything of that. It's a good versatile gun. Now, I do have, a Stoeger M3500. I do have a Beretta 391, 12, all these 12 gauge. I don't shoot 20 gauge or any sub gauge, just personal preference. And I have, a couple AR rifles that I've built. I am a certified gunsmith, so I do that on the side as well. And then a plethora of handguns. I mean, one of the ones, part of my EDC is a Bursa Mini Firestorm 45 ACP. My baby is my Sig Tac 9. That thing stays in the truck and it'll go everywhere with me.
Where did you get your training for gunsmithing?
Sonoran Desert Institute, based out of Arizona.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Gunsmith as well from Sonoran Desert Institute.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I operate a gunsmithing business at the range where I predominantly do sporting shotguns because that's what my specialty is. Basic maintenance, service work, upgrades, adjustable cone work, do a little bit of angle porting, kick ease pads. That's my bread and butter is sporting shotguns.
Right.
But not saying that I can't, work on a AR platform. I can't work on a hunting rifle or pistol. I just specialize in that category because that's where most of my revenue and most of my clientele is from the shotgun sports world.
Yeah. I got the associate's degree in firearm technology at SDI and also the certificate in handgun specialist over there.
Okay. Yep.
And so I specialize in handguns, trying to do more of specialty of 1911s. So good to meet another person from SDI, man. I've been kind of feeling a little alone around here.
Yeah, I did just the certificate. My GI Bill covered it, and it's a great program. It's best one. I mean, I know a lot of gunsmiths have done from other colleges and other organizations and industries and institutions, but all I've heard, SDI has been on the top of the list.
Oh yeah,
SDI was actually recommended to me by a friend of mine that lives in South Carolina, that he does gunsmithing for a living, and he's got a huge fifth wheel trailer that he pulls with a semi truck, and he travels from state to state to these large sporting clays events, and that's his whole source of income. Even when he's not traveling, he's got a brick and mortar set up for gunsmithing that he's busy year round with.
And people watching, if you want to get into gunsmithing and everything, it is sdi.edu where you can go to, where we went to learn about firearms. It doesn't matter if you're doing it for a hobby or for a job. You'll get all the information you need about firearms there. They also have a drone program. So if you are more into drones, still SDI is a way to go. But
honestly, I wanted to go to SDI, but due to personal circumstances, I could not afford the tuition.
Oh yeah, I'm still paying on the tuition. It was $20,000 for me for the associate's degree.
Oh, so you went you did the whole degree?
Yes.
Was it firearms technology?
Yeah. It's I got associates of science in firearm technology. I completed that back in 2015, and then or something like that, or started there. Then I tried to do the drone one, but when I got into the math course, I really sucked because I don't know trig or geometry, and so I had to back down from that. And then I got my associate or my certificate in handgun specialist, and with that, you got the intro to firearms, hammer fire, revolvers, and striker fires. And so the revolver class, I got a Taurus 856 38 special. The hammer fire, I got a Stars B6, and the striker fire, I got a PSA dagger. And I use that PSA dagger for my everyday carry. What was your final class of SDI for your certificate? Which 3 classes did you take?
Ballistics.
No, your final one where you get to keep the firearm that they sent you.
Oh, so for my elective, I chose building a business plan. So I wasn't required to do a final project gun, which I was upset about because I was going to do a 6.5 Creedmoor bolt action. That was so I was a little upset about that. But since my elective wasn't pertaining directly to a firearm, it was all classroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that business class? Because I was considering it.
It was good. I took a lot from it just because I knew how to work on guns already. That just helped sharpen my skills, but didn't know jack shit about running a business.
Okay.
And that really helped me, developing a business plan, already set you up for success of like how, to set up your accounting, set up your books, advertising, getting your name out there, how to like retain clientele, how to get new clientele. I mean, even something as simple as how to interact with a customer. Me,
Okay.
I'm not really the biggest people person. Like, I go to all these big major shoots, where there's a couple hundred, 600, 700, 800 people there, and they all want to talk and take pictures and hug and take videos. And I'm just like, fuck off. I'm here for one reason and one reason only. But as a business owner, you can't have that mentality. And that was something that helped you with as well, is like actually being able to, something as simple, you don't even think about, like, okay, how am I going to talk to a customer? Somebody comes to you, hey, my gun's broke. What'd you do to it? Versus, hey, my gun's broken. All right, so what's the issues you're having? When did this start? Any particular reason why it started? Simple things like that.
Oh yeah, I get that because I'm running my own training business, so I got flying Hawaiian tactical training and more, and I've been going that for the last year and it's been somewhat successful. So I kind of get what you're talking about because a lot of people don't understand how to train, and then it's up to us to try to coach them into it.
And it's like outside of my regular job, I coach a collegiate team. And here I am in my mid 30s teaching 19, 20-year-olds, that, they all they grew up shooting except for a handful. And they know how to handle a gun. They know how to shoot, a shotgun. But having to, like I call it, break it down Barney style for people of how to actually use gun fundamentals and your just natural instincts of how to, shoot sporting clays. That was a big step for me because I came straight out of the military into, trying to teach kids how to shoot. Like, it's like Billy Madison, but with guns, pretty much. Now, for the most part, the kids are respectful. They do want to learn. There's those a few that are like, oh, I've been doing this my whole life. Well, kid, your whole life's like, I can fit your whole life in one hand, kind of thing. But that was a big like thing for me to overcome, was like actually how to talk to. I call them kids because to me they're kids. I think the oldest one there is like 22.
Oh yeah, I have a stepdaughter, or I call my daughter, that's 21 now. And
I was a sniper in the Army when they were learning their ABCs in kindergarten.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so you ever caught yourself being more of a gunsmith while teaching certain things, like where it came out?
What, like with interacting with the customer?
Yeah, like when you're teaching your class, like giving out the safety rules and stuff like that. You ever see yourself like bringing out the gunsmith out of you?
Not really, because typically when I do my lessons and when I'm coaching, the people there, they're already like understand the basic safety rules of sporting clays. Once in a while I'll get like a granddad and his like young grandson that never really shot before. So other than teaching the basic safety of like firearms, like for us, like, keep actions broken open and closed at all times when you're at the shooting stand, only load when you're in the shooting stand. there's really the basics of the safety rules, and the rest like people will pick up along the way. Now, I do find myself like dumbing down a lot of things to people, whether it be with gunsmithing or being with actually shooting, and I just don't think I can break myself of that because that's just how I'm able to. That's how I am as a teacher. Is I try to break down. I treat everybody like they don't know shit. So that way, I treat them as a clean slate. So everybody's getting the same type of foundation. And then each individual person will have, I'll have different teaching styles for them of how they take from that basic foundation.
Yeah, I find myself doing the same thing when I'm teaching class. Um, I'm sponsored or I'm a USCCA firearm instructor. And when I have to teach their materials, one in particular is like the holsters. How we learned holsters from SDI showed that level 1 was just the holster itself. SDI or USCCA calls it a level 0.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find,
yeah, for NSCA, National Sporting Clays Association, there's 4 levels of instructor. Now, in most courses, 1 is you're starting out, 2 through 3. With us, is reverse. So if you're level 4, you're just starting out. You work all the way your way to 1. I'm currently a level 3. I probably won't see level 2 until I'm like, if I'm still doing it, until I'm like 50 or 60. There's only like maybe 20 level 2 and higher instructors in the nation for sporting clays.
oh wow.
Yeah.
So I know you're gonna have to leave here soon. Any advice you want to give to people who want to go into sporting clays? Or
fucking do it. So, and when I say sporting clays, and I'm like, if I'm just talking to a random person on the street, they're like, "Oh yeah, well I've gone out there and I've shot skeet and trap before." So you have skeet and trap, and then you have sporting clays. So skeet and trap, it's an Olympic event. A real good friend of mine, Derek Mine, he is an Olympic shooter for skeet and trap. Skeet and trap is a very repetitious type of shotgun sports where you are in 5 positions. In every position you're in, it's the same 3 targets. You have a left, you have a right, and you have a front. With sporting clays, predominantly it's a 15 station course with 100 targets for your main event. You shoot that 3 different courses over 3 days for a total of 300 targets. Every day those stations are going to change. Every station the targets are different. So it's a lot more complex. But just like any other sport in the world, if you have any interest in it, just go out and do it and be part of it. Get out, hold a gun, learn how to properly use it, and just if you have any kind of inclination to try anything, just guns aside, shooting aside. I know we're pro A2 talk or pro 2A talk. Sorry, the Michelobes are kicking in. Just do it. And sporting clays, every state in North Carolina or every state in the United States has a sporting clay range. Find your local range, go out there, talk about it, learn up on it. There's great tools out there to learn. And like I said, just try it. What's the worst that could happen? You go out there and you don't like it. Oh, well, you go out there and you love it. Now you have a new hobby for your life. It's like getting addicted to drugs, but a lot more expensive. Yeah. But look, I appreciate y'all guys bringing me out here on the podcast. I look forward to more time with you guys. I do have to cut out of here because I've got more Michelob Ultras and Steamed Oyster Skull in my name.
All right, you enjoy those. Thank you for coming onto the show.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on to the show.
Quick plug, any viewers now or that watch the re-record, if you want to follow me on Twitch, it's Sandman Gaming 252. He's already dropped all the W links. Make sure you follow and subscribe, everyone here, and y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all next time.
Oh, you too.
You sure?
So, before we can get on, speaking on the training part, you guys, we're gonna from USCCA. I do have a class coming up on the 13th.
Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals. Take a class where you will get the foundation needed to obtain your CCW permit. Get the confidence you need to act as your family's first line of defense. Learn about home security, marksmanship fundamentals, firearms basics, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, physiology of violent encounters, the legal aspect of using deadly force, and the aftermath of a home defense incident. Register for your Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals class today.
All right, now we're going to go on our regular scheduled program. So, beginning of this year, the government has made a office or put into an did a deal for our gun rights. The DOG is or DOJ, sorry, is trying to help restore our gun rights from felons to get rid of these really awful gun control bills. I know there's some from saying that we can't really conceal carry in a whole lot of places to banning all of our firearms. But one in particular that caught my eye, I don't know how it's going to, like, it caught your eye. Attorney General Pamela Boyd said this: for far too long, the Second Amendment, which established the fundamental individual rights of America to keep and bear arms, has been treated as a second-class right and no more. And so, with that, I felt, okay, well, the Trump administration is doing something about protecting our Second Amendment. So, as of April 8th, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, you guys heard something different, that they're looking at every single gun control bill out there from every state, including the federal government, and eliminating certain bills, like the NFA bans. What I've heard recently is that they're trying to take suppressors off the NFA list. Another one is Trump is trying to get concealed carry without a permit for all states, make it constitutional carry. What do you think, Bekos?
Yeah, right now it is going into a little bit of chaos with the concealed carry laws that states are putting out, and this time of, well, let's just say transition of from state to state. It always evolves from each term of each congressman or governor, especially right now, since the government is looking at all of the gun laws that currently is going to be up and down, yes and no, depending on state to state. So we finally get this nailed down and put to rest. So
Yeah.
I do highly recommend that people were to keep an eye on the gun laws for the next few months to 2 years, depending on how long this ends up taking.
Yeah, because I know with the DOJ, the Trump administration is trying to crack down on all this because the far left wants to take our guns away, especially what happened with Charlie Kirk. I understand, but they're hurting law-abiding citizens. They're not going after the criminals. They're making it easier for the criminals to harm us, to put us in danger. With the concealed carry, I believe we need it, and I know Big Hoss is going to go over that in a little bit more in detail here in just a minute. But it has caused a lot of arguments across the board, especially when DOJ is overturning a lot of gun bills or a lot of gun laws that are unconstitutional. So I'll turn it over to Big Hoss for the for the constitutional carry, the concealed carry part, because he's going to explain it a little bit more in detail what he heard.
Well, like I said, it varies from state to state. Currently, the worst right now is Hawaii. They are now having it to where unless you have a guns are allowed sign, it is assumed that that place is not allow firearms, which can kind of put us into a little bit of trouble if it's, people will see it as, oh, they don't allow guns, we're going to be a little safer trying to take people from there or trying to rob it. Like down here in Louisiana, the concealed carry is very accepted with permits and everything, and a lot of people do it. And we don't require signs or anything, so criminals don't know if they're armed, if the people are going to be in there who are armed, if they're going to be able to rob safely or not. And it's very much a deterrent of criminals. Even in a few countries, not countries, but parishes down here in Louisiana, there are some businesses that will actually give you discounts for going there and carrying a firearm, either open or concealed.
What kind of businesses there in Louisiana?
Restaurants, places that people sit in, typically diners, movie theaters.
Wait, they allow firearms in movie theaters?
Typically not. It's like I said, some parishes, but it's each business's thing, and it's mostly places that people are sitting for a while, and it's higher crime things because with the recent theater shootings, it started to rethink some things.
Okay. But back to Hawaii deal. I know I shared that clip with you, but why would you think they would go to that far of extent of saying if there's no signs, it's still a gun-free zone?
I think it's really their stance on gun control. I don't think they really want people to have guns. The fact that they are really trying to deter anyone from doing it is really it is very unconstitutional.
Yeah. I know you had something to say about that, Kenan.
Yeah. The way they're handling it is not right. It's one, they don't want people to carry guns or anything like that. That's fine. That's their business. But they need to stand for what they believe in. If they don't want people in their businesses with guns, they need to put up signs saying, don't come in our business with guns, not leave it so bad guys don't come in and rob them because they have a no gun sign. That's why you pay your insurance, stuff like that. You get uh, you take risks, stuff like that. Um, you don't want guns in your store, you take that risk. Um, you can't just have nothing there and just have people assume, oh well, they must be no carry store, because you can't read minds. Um, that's not right. It's like those people who say they hate the cops, and then when their stuff gets stolen, they're like, I guess I need the cops now.
Yeah, I find it kind of ridiculous that they're doing this, because how can we, people in Hawaii, because I have family down there, and that's really disturbs me. Like, how are they supposed to protect themselves with that? Because businesses are not getting armed security. I don't think all businesses can afford them.
Right, which is, having armed customers might actually be a good thing. And yeah, you do take a risk of someone, not the right person, coming in with a gun, but on the off chance that you do have 20 of the right people with guns in your store, that will cancel out the problem.
Yeah. Did you guys know what is the top 3 states that has the longest waiting day periods to get a firearm?
I would say California's got to be one of them. New York probably is one of them. And since we're going over Hawaii, I'll guess Hawaii is one of them.
What about you, Big House?
He pretty much took it from my mouth. Those are some more of the intolerant places. Well, maybe instead of New York, go with Colorado, because they are starting to crack down a little more. But yeah, California probably would be number one. I can't say Hawaii if it's 2 or 3, and then Colorado's 3 or 2. But
Here's a little fun fact. Number 1 is Hawaii with 14-day waiting period, 2 weeks. Then California with 10 days. Washington, D.C. and Washington is also 10 days.
oh,
It's like 2 weeks to get a firearm there.
Here, you just fill out the background check, they run it, and you get a gun.
Yeah.
And it takes no more than 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah, here in Colorado, it's a 3-day waiting period. But Hawaii is the number 1 of 2 weeks to get your firearm that you purchase.
Yeah.
So all this talk about, like, looking at everything Hawaii's doing and wondering, how can anybody protect themselves?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is to you guys, but it seems that's control over protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. Because, examples down here is that, people who are concealed carrying, often than not, they will stop the criminals as it's happening. Like, if a convenience store is being robbed, more often than not, they will be stopped by an armed civilian, and then wait for the cops to come in and take over. while in some places that have the higher cases of that, if they're unarmed, it's very possible that if they try to do anything besides obey, that they are risking their lives and safety. And there's also just cases where the people who are robbing the place just decide, okay, I'm going to kill everyone in here.
Oh yeah, because following along with like the conceal carry on your end, this happened about 3 years ago, but you guys heard about the Greenwood Park mall shooting up in, I think it was Illinois or Indiana. Indiana.
I think I heard a little bit about it, but not much.
What about you, Big Hoss?
Isn't that the one where a guy came in with an assault rifle and a guy who was concealed carrying technically illegally because a mall didn't allow it, but he still managed to stop that person from going and killing any more than they had already done?
Kind of. No, no. He took 3 lives, but he walked out the bathroom and started shooting the guy who had a concealed carry permit. Was in the mall. Yeah, they may have a no gun sign there, but there's 2 different meanings behind it. People who are just watching this or don't understand what I'm saying about 2 different ones. You got one that just says no guns allowed. Those are iffy. People who are concealed carrying, I would say proceed with caution, because if you get caught and you're asked to leave, leave. Do not stay there. Do not argue. Just leave, because that can end up being the fine line of getting a felony trespassing. But if you see a no gun sign allowed and a state code there or a city ordinance underneath that sign, that is a legit no guns allowed. And you will get a felony gun possession over that if you do cross that line. So I don't know about this mall, whether or not it had the ordinance or not. I cannot say that for sure. But he was concealed carrying. He pulled out his gun, fired 10 times, and hit the guy 8 out of 10. I think at like 100 yards away or something like that.
Yeah.
And stopped the shooting. And the officers called him a hero. The View and most other people are calling him a criminal.
I'd be like, how so? I mean, if that guy wasn't there, there would be 30 people killed, maybe 60 people killed. I mean,
You never know. And it's the same thing as like the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting that he went through. He was protecting himself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were calling him a criminal.
Yeah, no, I think anytime you are endangered, you should be able to protect yourself and your life in any way possible.
Oh, yeah. And so with all this, like, what Big Hoss said about concealed carrying, a Hawaii deal, I find it, to me, disturbing. And that people of the 2A, we need to come together and, protect our rights.
yeah, it's highly disturbing what Hawaii is doing, because they're making themselves targets for people with guns.
Oh, yeah. I imagine that's the first place, and watch other states are going to try to adopt that like they've done with a lot of other things.
And I mean, even using here as an example, our stores don't have gun signs on them, and they get robbed anyway. So regardless of if you have a don't carry a gun sign or not, they're going to get robbed if they're going to get robbed.
Oh yeah. So, I like to give out support to the 2 National Guards that got shot at in DC. I know it's a tragic incident, but I don't know much about that story except what the news is covering. So, I'm very supportive of the military, but it's hard to imagine that would happen. I have family in the military.
Yeah.
What happened to Big Hoss?
I don't know. He's here, but he's not on. Like, he's in the studio because there's 3 people in the studio, but he's not.
I guess his camera and mic got disconnected for some reason.
Yeah.
But just to recap, everybody, what we've been talking about, we heard from our special guest, Sandman. If you do like him and watch him and support him, use Sandman252 for his W code to get 10% off your order. Or you can use mine, that's Flying Hawaiian, or Cannon's, that is Wonder Wolf, right?
Welder Wolf.
Welder Wolf. We also talked about the new DOJ office that are helping felons get their rights back. It's a long process, but my best suggestion is hire an attorney to file that paperwork to get your gun rights back. But there are stipulations to that process, like haven't been in trouble for 5 to 10 years, not addicted to drugs and stuff like that. Also, Big Hoss talked about concealed carries and also talked about some of the not so brilliant government of Hawaii. I don't know how else you would put it. So, any other things we did not cover today?
I
No.
believe that is everything we had laid out for this episode.
Yeah. And so, everybody, if you're in the Denver, Colorado area, the link is down below in the description. Sign up for the classes to get your CHP if you don't already have it. That's a Colorado handgun permit. Or you can see what other classes that I'm teaching that you might want to attend. I might be doing another countering the mass shooter threat coming up, or a church safety class for a lot of these churchgoers. I just did one last month out in Grand Junction. Everybody had a great time, learned a lot of new things. So remember training, everybody in Pro 2A know about. So I don't have anything else on the agenda unless you guys want to give a little tip out or say a few things.
Nope, I'm good. You came?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, this brings another episode down to a close of the Gun Talk. We'll see you guys next week. Probably going to be doing something supporting about Pearl Harbor when December 7th, 1941, I think it was.
1941.
Yeah.
So might be doing a little support of that coming up. So aloha.